Hey friend, if you have $1,000 in your bank account, we're going to talk about 6 different money moves that you can and should consider making today. All right, well, welcome back to the SeedTime Money Podcast. I'm your host, Bob Lotich. Someone was just asking me the other day how to pronounce my name, and they said we don't say it enough, so we're going to say it a lot. Lotich. It sounds like when you spell it phonetically, it's Lah-Tick, I guess. So it's not Lotich, it's not Lotch, or any number of other really hilarious things I've heard people say. But anyway, it's just me today. Linda is gone out of town for a few days, and I'm holding down the fort with the kids. And so first, I need some suggestions from you on what the heck to do with my kids to keep them busy and to keep me sane, if you will. So I have a 10-year-old boy, a 7-year-old girl, and a 5-year-old boy, and they are all full of energy. I don't have any of those kids. You know, I have some friends who have kids that just look like, I don't know, like little bunnies that sit in the corner all cute and snuggle up and read a book. And we have the opposite of those, and I think a lot of people do. But anyway, any suggestions you have for me, I will take them. Send them over to Seed on Instagram at SeedTime. Let me know. DM me. Let me know what to do. I need help. But anyway, we're talking about these 6 money moves, and I wrote a blog post about this a little while back, and a lot of people really liked it. So I figured, let's share it with the podcast community. And so there was a survey that was done by Bankrate that showed that 56% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their bank account. And so the fact is, just reaching this milestone of having $1,000 in your savings in your bank account or whatever, like, is a significant milestone, you know. And our grandparents would have been like, "You guys should have saved more," you know. But it just is what it is. It's the reality of the world we live in. And so if you've reached that milestone, or even if you haven't, some of this might be helpful for you. And if nothing else, things to consider and to be looking forward to as you kind of move forward. Now, everything we're talking about here, I have personally done myself. I found them to be incredibly helpful, but like anything else that we're talking about, don't take it as specific financial advice for you, but as education, things for you to consider, things for you to pray about, things for you to seek other wise counsel about so you can decide what's best for you. So number 1 on this list is a passive income app or website that will allow you to get started investing in real estate for as little as $10, which sounds kind of crazy, but that's just this fintech world. Like, there's so many options. There's so many different ways to get started investing right now. And this is a really cool one that I've been doing for many, many years. If you've been following us, you probably heard me talk about it, but it's a company called Fundrise. And basically it's like a crowd-funded real estate platform where you come together with a whole bunch of other investors, pitch in some money, and then they go out and buy a property, and then they share the returns with you. And so what I love about it is I've had physical rental properties in which we don't at the moment, but we've had them in the past. And even with the property manager of that property, which I thought this is going to be 100% passive because I got the property manager to handle everything. He's just going to send me checks. Still, it required more of my time and mental energy than I thought, that I was expecting. Now, that's not at all to say that investing in physical real estate and having your own properties is a bad thing. I actually think it's a great thing. We will be doing more of it in the future. But what I love about Fundrise is that it's legitimately 100% passive. So you invest however much you have, they take care of it. I've been with them a long time. My returns with them over the 7-8 years I've been with them have been pretty good. But like anything else, any other investment, it goes up and down. So we've had some big years with them. We've had some small years. Might have even had one year where we might have even been at a loss, and that is investing. That's the way it works, you know. But all that said, I'm still investing with them. I'm still adding money to them because I really like the passive nature of it. I'm happy with my overall returns over that period. And so that's kind of the first one we have on our list. And I'm going to have links to all of these down in the description. So you're welcome to check those out there. And of course, any other questions that I can answer, go ahead and DM us at SeedTime on Instagram, and happy to do that. All right, number 2 on the list is to get a high yield savings account that is actually going to pay you some decent interest, because for whatever reason, there are still many of the big banks out there are not paying any interest to their customers that have savings accounts. And I don't mean literally none, but I mean they're paying like 0.1%. And some of the biggest banks in the country are doing this. Meanwhile, you have smaller and mid-sized banks who are eager to get your business who are paying over 4%. Okay. And this doesn't really matter when you have whatever, $5 or $10 in your savings account. But once you get 1,000 and you start getting multiple thousands in there, it starts to add up to something where it's like, yeah, maybe this is worth my time to get a savings account that's actually going to pay us interest. Now, the best one that I found in terms of highest paying is a bank called CIT Bank. And so what we did was we still kept our main bank, which we actually have a decent savings rate at, but CIT was a little bit better. So we still kept our main bank. We didn't get rid of that, but we just connect those two banks, which almost any bank can do right now. So you can just transfer money back and forth really easily within a couple of days on each of them. And anyway, it's just a simple way to start earning, allowing that $1,000 or however much you have to start earning you more money. Like that's the key. How do we get the money that we have to begin earning us more money, right? So anyway, I'll have, again, links to all this down below if you want to check it out further. They have a specific type of savings account. So it's called a Savings Connect account. So if you just go there and you're digging around, you got to make sure you find the right savings account that offers this higher rate. And I'm not even going to say what the exact rate is now because it's always changing. But last I checked, it was over 4%, which is a whole lot better than 0.1% like many of the biggest banks in the country are giving right now. All right, number 3 on this list is to take an investing class or read an investing book, whatever. Just begin your investing education. And so I remember being 17 years old, and my uncle handed me a book that honestly, I would say would change the course of my life. And that's kind of a big statement, but it was an investing book written by the guys from the Motley Fool. And it was just a simple, basic book on investing. And it was like the first time in my brain I ever started thinking about this idea of multiplying and turning money into something more rather than just spending all of I have, which is all I did as a 17-year-old at that point. Every dollar that came in, it got spent. Every dollar that came in, it was just meant to be consumed. This was the first thing that got me thinking, what if I don't consume every dollar and I do some of what this book says and I can put money in there and it can turn into more like that? You know, for people who don't grow up with parents teaching you that stuff, it's like, it's a big, big, big thing. And so that book planted this seed of kind of really curiosity that I think grew into a full-blown passion over, the years that followed. And so I didn't start investing then. It took me a few more years, and it really ended up taking me another mentor that I ran into, a guitar teacher of mine who finally got me to the point where it was like, I need to do this. I need to commit to this. And so anyway, point of all of this is there are a lot of different ways. There's a ton of books out there. We have an investing course called our 10X investing course, which I would highly recommend. The Motley Fool, the same people who wrote that book, they have like a stock advisor service where they like kind of give you recommendations on stocks and things like that. And I actually don't recommend most investors start with stocks. I like investing in ETFs that have a little bit more diversification, a little bit less volatility to them, generally speaking. I feel like it's a better place for a lot of new investors to start. But the point is, begin your investing education. If you have $1,000 in your savings account, it doesn't mean go throw it all in an investment right now, but start your investing education as you continue to build that up, get a little bit of emergency fund built, and then start moving some money into some investments and start getting your feet wet. Because again, you can read a book, you can take a class, but you got to get some skin in the game, make an investment, and that's how you really begin growing in your understanding of investing. And if you want a secret, one of the best ways I began learning about money was by losing it in some investments. And one thing I say all the time too is if you're doing that and you are investing some money at the beginning, really anytime, like consider it part of your investing education. And so I just had investment. I literally just started putting money into 2 weeks ago, and it's down 30%. And when I see that, I view it as this is part of my education. And I ask myself, all right, what did I do wrong that time? What mistake did I make? Or did I not even make a mistake? Because my goal wasn't I don't invest for the short term. So I don't invest thinking I'm going to put $100 or $1,000 in here and I expect it to double in the next 2 weeks and then I'm going to get out. Like I'm a long-term investor. And so when I put $1,000 in, I'm not planning on touching that for decades. That's my ideal, investing horizon. And so in this particular case, I don't know, is this part of the question I'm asking? Is did I actually do something wrong? Or is this just the short-term volatility of what's going on? And this still actually was a good investment. But the point is, I'm asking real questions because I have skin in the game. And so that's what I like about having an investor education when you actually are invested. All right, number 4 on the list is to discover when you're going to be able to retire with a retirement planner. And there's a free one that I like. It's called Empower. And they have a retirement planner built into their personal dashboard. And so this is a tool that I used to use a lot more. And some of the things that this tool does aren't as beneficial as they used to be, but it's still a fantastic tool. And this is one of the great features of it, is that you can go in there, you can download this app, you can go over to their site, and securely with bank level encryption, link up your bank accounts, IRAs and 401ks and all that stuff to be able to get a high level analysis of all of your investments, all of your bank accounts, all of your money, everything you have going on. And then you can put in a few other details like income and things like this, and you can be able to see when it is that you will be able to retire based on your savings rate, based on your investments and all these different things. And so it's a super powerful tool. And again, there's no guarantees, like it can't read the future, but what it can do is it can project out and it can run through a bunch of different scenarios to estimate whether or not you are on the right track for what your goals are. And so if you're trying to have $3 million saved by the time you reach 65, and your savings rate is this, and this is all you have saved, and this is where it's invested, blah, 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 it can use that to give you some sort of guesstimate as to whether or not you will hit that. And this can be really helpful and really insightful just to know that you are saving enough, you are investing enough, or that you're not, And this is helpful information to have. And so it's a free tool, which is really, really cool. So that's one worth checking out as well. And then number 5 on this list is, and I guess this might be a little of a tangent, but I don't know, I think it's worth mentioning, getting a good credit card. I see a lot of people who have just a junk credit card that maybe their bank offered, or they got a free t-shirt for signing up, or whatever the thing might have been, whatever the promo might have been for it. And again, my point in this isn't to get a credit card if you don't need a credit card and you don't want a credit card, or if you have a hard time controlling your spending, like all those situations, don't get a credit card, stick with a debit card or whatever. But if you're someone who wants to benefit from that use, of which we are those people, and we've benefited in a really significant way from our credit card usage. But the only reason we have is because we've had the right credit cards. Because when you're using the wrong credit card, there's just not much benefit, in terms of rewards and things like that. And so the one that, after testing 34 different ones, that I found to be the winner for us is a Chase Sapphire Preferred. And I have a link to that one with the review where I talk a little bit more about what we like about it. But one of the things I love about it, well, first off, it's very common in the financial industry that you will see other financial experts using this card. I've been to dinner multiple times with other financial bloggers or writers or whatever, and almost every time this is the card that lands on the table with the bill more than anything else. And so it's just a great card in a lot of different ways. It's kind of, if you think of it from the 80-20 perspective, it's the card that has just the most bang for the buck. And there are other cards that might be better in one area or another, but like an all-around good rewards card, this has been the one for us that has been our go-to card for years. So anyway, so that's that one. All right, moving on to number 6. I would say to protect your money from bank theft. And just yesterday, literally last night, we had to call our bank because we had some fraudulent charges on our card. And thankfully, I quickly noticed them. And I was thinking back on this. I had a friend of mine, this is maybe a year or two ago. He came to me, he's like, his checking account had been hacked. And he woke up one morning and his bank account, I think, was completely drained. And I think they kept many thousands of dollars in that account. And so he's freaking out, trying to figure out what to do. And it turned out that there's some hacker had kind of managed to get into his account and was making all kinds of fraudulent charges and withdrawals and everything else. And so my buddy spent weeks trying to get that sorted out with his bank. Meanwhile, he's late on bills and everything else because all the money that was in there to pay the bills, to buy the groceries, whatever, it's all gone. And the bank has to investigate it to make sure that it's legitimate fraud. And so that takes time. And meanwhile, he's sitting there getting backed up on bills and trying to figure out what to do next, So I tried to help him any way I could, but, and there wasn't much I could do at that point. And so it was a painful thing to watch. And it wasn't the time for me to tell him about LifeLock, but that's the thing that prevents all this. And if you don't know what LifeLock is, you've probably seen the ads for them. They have ads all the time everywhere. But one of the things that I like about them is it's like having a security guard for your bank accounts and your identity and all the stuff. And so basically what they do is they keep an eye on all your accounts and your personal info like 24/7. And if anything suspicious pops up, they let you know right away so you can shut it down before you get to that point where that much damage is done, And so it is one of those things, it's an extra expense, but again, when you have a significant amount of money in savings or whatever else, this puts you, I don't know, just a little peace of mind that is kind of nice, Anyway, that's just another one of those things that I think is worth considering once you really start building some decent savings or whatever thing else might be for you. So anyway, this is my list for today. Hopefully you found this helpful. I'll have links to all of them down below. Like I said, probably have a link to the blog post if you want to read that as well. And I'd love to hear from you. What would you add to this list? And so if you have other great things, I want to know about them. I love finding out about the coolest tools and apps and resources and whatever. I'll share it my way. I nerd out for this stuff. And send it over at SeedTime on Instagram, like I've said a lot. Or you can email me, bob@seedtime.com. I'd love to hear from you. Hope you're having a great and awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one.
I just learned about you last week. I purchased your book and read it in just a few days and have since ordered 5 more to give to others. This is what Jason and Megan said after reading our book.
That's awesome. Way to go, Jason and Megan. We love that. And if you've enjoyed our book, you are welcome to do that and order 5 more for others as well. I would love to see that.
You can get it on Amazon, but we so believe that the church needs this message that if you can cover shipping, we'd love to cover the cost of the book and send you a free copy.
All you need to do is go to seedtime.com/free to get yours.